College basketball on Flow Hoops from Bubbleville at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. College basketball on Flow Hoops from Bubbleville at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. We're wrapping up our holiday weekend coverage today with Buffalo and Army. He's the analyst for the Austin Spurs G League team, Carl Schoening. I'm James Westling. One of these teams will suffer their first loss of the season this afternoon. Both teams have looked really strong here in the bubble. Buffalo coming off a waxing of Towson yesterday. And Carl, Army, they hit 15 threes, one shy of a program record in their win against Central Connecticut State.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching these two teams cruise to some victories yesterday, and I believe they're pretty well matched, so I'm looking forward to today's matchup as we get the games rolling here in Bubbleville this afternoon.
Our players to watch this afternoon, first for Army. Lonnie Grayson went bananas yesterday in their win.
Yeah, you can't always count on a player to knock down 8 threes, but if you have a sharp shooter like that, it does certainly help out your offense, and he's going to be a player to watch today. If he can continue that three-point shooting, it'll really help Army out.
And on the other side for Buffalo, we really liked the effort from Janathan Williams with a career high.
Yeah, Janathan really impressed yesterday. He had 28 points, and he's listed at 6'5", but he's definitely longer than that, and he's a slasher that can score inside and was a big part of yesterday's victory against Towson.
Our keys to the game, we anticipate this will be a tight contest. What does Army have to do to move to 3-0?
Yeah, yesterday we saw them as against Central Connecticut State with a very versatile defense. They got to keep that style up. I think that that's really their advantage. Defense wins games at the NCAA level, and the way they were throwing out all kinds of defenses, really look to see them continue that here today.
And for the Bulls, as Buffalo looks to move to 2-0, coming off a win in their season opener.
They need to keep attacking the basket. That's going to be the main goal for them. They had 40 points in the paint yesterday against Towson. They only went 5 of 21 from behind the arc, and sometimes when one team is lighting it up from deep, there's a fallacy of trying to catch up with your own three-point shooting, and that's good if you have faith in your players to do it. But the most important thing will be to stick to your bread and butter, and that's getting into the paint, scoring around the basket, and I think that that's what Buffalo wants to do.
Take a look at our starting lineups. First for Army, 2-0 for the first time in 5 seasons since the 2015 campaign. Grayson, as we noted, 24 points in their win yesterday. Jalen Rucker, a freshman in the lineup, had 12. It was a balanced attack for Army West Point. And on the other side for Buffalo, Williams and Graves combined for 48 of their 74. Brock Bertram had career highs. Points, rebounds, and blocks, 8, 12, and 4. They are without Josh Mbala this afternoon, their top rebounder from a season ago in the middle. Army and Buffalo, a couple of undefeated teams set to square off. They played last year in the non-conference. Army won that game by 13, 89-76, and that was Army's signature win for the season. As Army has Peterson in the jump circle against Bertram of Buffalo. And we are underway. Bubbleville from the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Buffalo goes inside to Bertram. Short on the turnaround. Ripped down by King for Army West Point.
Bertram deserved that post-up to start the game after his performance yesterday, and look to see them maybe give him a healthy dose of post-ups. As he has a tough match against Peterson, it should be interesting to watch those two go at it.
Jalen Rucker is wearing a new number in the Army gold uniforms. He was number 1 yesterday. He's wearing number 51 for Army West Point here this afternoon as the Black Knights turn it over for the first time.
Yeah, somebody must have forgotten to wash his jersey.
A foul down low on the inside, called against Buffalo.
Yeah, Williams.
Jonathan Williams picks up his first.
Yeah, he got doubled down there in the post before the entry pass, and he was just trying to find some space.
Rucker kills his dribble, gets the handoff back from Peterson. Wiggles to the angle. Two-man game with King on the boundary. Caldwell gets his first touch out front. Peterson with his back to the goal, looking inside. It's bottled up. Shot clock winding down. Army has to hoist it up. Grayson, a three offline. He went 8 of 12 yesterday from distance. Had a career high 24 points. Graves, the step back. An air bank collected by King, who has his second rebound for the Black Knights. Peterson, Bertram gambles for a steal, and Peterson makes him pay. Coasting in for a left-handed layup. Takes almost 2 minutes, but somebody's on the board. Army scoring first.
Yeah, we saw Buffalo denying in the post a lot yesterday, and today that kind of cost them early on as Peterson found that easy 15 feet out. You got to be careful not to deny too far away from the basket.
Caldwell gets Williams, and Williams has picked up his second foul. Jonathan Williams, who had a career-high 28 points and a career-high on the glass with 12 rebounds. He picks up his second personal foul just a couple of minutes into the contest. Count the basket for Caldwell. He's headed to the line for Army.
Yeah, I think that should signify Williams going to the bench, and indeed it does, as he gets tagged out, and he's still talking to the official about it. But those were two pretty obvious fouls to start off this match, and he's probably going to be gone until maybe the closing moments of the first half.
Caldwell at the foul line, swishes it in, and Army has jumped out to a 5-point lead here in the first 2+ minutes of action. Trayvon Fagan gets the start for Buffalo. Wandering into the lane, Nickelberry flips it up and in, and Buffalo's on the board.
Yeah, Nickelberry, who just came in for Williams, makes his presence known right away and finds a way to navigate into the paint against this matchup zone that Army's been throwing out here to start off the last few possessions of this game. They started pretty straight man in the first possession, but it's been a matchup zone the last couple times.
Rucker, a long three off the heel. Buffalo, one of the top rebounding teams in the nation. That was a big factor in their win yesterday against Towson. Graves couldn't create any separation on his defender, as Grayson guarding him, and now Segu is bumped and fouled on his way to the baseline.
Army making some early substitutions here, and that's a big part of why their defense is so effective. They're very active on that defensive side of the ball.
Shot goes for David Nickelberry. He has all 4 points for Buffalo, making an impact off the bench. The senior from Orlando played in 18 games last year as a junior. Caldwell left alone. Can't hit the dot. And soaring in for the rebound, Graves has it. Wants to push tempo for Buffalo. This is where they're dangerous. Graves decelerates at the top of the key, puts it on the floor, gets mid-slot, shot too long, and Army pulls it down. It's been one and done for Buffalo on that end. Grayson on the secondary break, hoisting up an air ball, kicked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end with Army.
Yeah, both Caldwell and Grayson eager to put those threes up, and we saw Army get off to an 0-for-7 start before really lighting up from deep yesterday. But you need to be patient with your threes. You need to get your feet set underneath you. That's one of the most important things. Neither times on the last 2 3-point attempts did they seem like they were ready to actually shoot. They just kind of hoisted it with their arms. You need to make sure your legs are balanced and set for those 3-point shots.
Nick Finke with the ball, had a career-high points and rebounds yesterday in the win over Central Connecticut State. Had it wrestled away by Hartnett. They're going to call him for a foul.
A little too physical trying to rip away that ball. Sometimes the refs will allow that, but they're calling it a little tighter today, I think. And already see some early team fouls. I believe that's 4 on Buffalo.
Tucker Blackwell has checked in for Army, has the ball, gives it up to Duhart, and now Cross. This is a deep Army team. Ball poked out near midcourt. King tracks it down with the shot clock winding down. It's at 7. Cross down to 5, down to 4. Eyes the rim. Cross to Blackwell. Barely beats the buzzer. Sputters off, and Hartnett has it for Buffalo. 1-on-2. Segu on the break. High off the glass. No. Rebound fumbled around and secured by Army. Duhart into the lane. Lost it momentarily. Now controls. Has terminated his dribble. Out on the arc to Blackwell and back to Duhart. Army by a point here in the early action. Both these teams shooting less than 30% from the floor. Duhart got away with a walk. Somehow finds Cross for the layup.
Yeah, you got to love the pace that both of these teams are playing. I do know Army's using a lot of time on that shot clock, and here it'll be an offensive foul on Nickelberry, but a very fast pace to that half-court offense for Army, and that's going to be a big factor in making this Buffalo defense work.
Media timeout. That is already the 4th foul on Buffalo. They're piling up for the Bulls as Williams already has 2. He's on the bench. With 14:59 to go in this first half, Army with an early lead. We're back in a moment. The Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, host of Bubbleville on Flo Hoops.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? AFreserve.com.
The Mohegan Sun in Connecticut is host of Bubbleville on Flo Hoops. An 11-day stretch of basketball. Over 30 teams and 40 games. Buffalo and Army West Point in a close one. Army leads 7-4 alongside Carl Schoening. I'm James Westlane. And Carl, Jonathan Williams saddled on the Buffalo bench with 2 fouls just a couple of minutes into this contest.
Yeah, he had 28 points yesterday, so we thought he would be a big factor today. He got a little too aggressive on both sides of the ball, picking up early fouls on each end. And his replacement, Nickelberry, not doing too bad, came in and had 2 points right away and then scored another field goal moments later for 4 points. So he represents all 4 points for Buffalo. So in a weird way, Williams' exit has benefited Buffalo, but you still want him out there playing. He's one of the better players and defenders for these Bulls, and we'll have to see when he comes back into the game if such a long delay doesn't also affect maybe his rhythm and his muscles being warm.
Buffalo beat Towson by 9 yesterday, 74-65. Didn't shoot it particularly well, but dominated the glass and the tempo in that one. Army leads by 3. King roars into the lane, turns his back to the goal and flips it along the inline to Finke as it knocked loose out of bounds with the shot clock at 9.
I enjoy watching this Army offense. They have a lot of motion. They don't let the ball get too stagnant. And if somebody needs a little bit of help after using their dribble, they're quickly to come and keep that offense moving.
Duhart had it knocked high into the air, tracked down by Buffalo. They have numbers. They flip it left. Hartnett can't finish the gimme. Ball comes long to Blackwell. They'll count it. And 1. Tucker Blackwell going to the line for the old-fashioned three-point look.
Yeah, Gallion not quite with the best court awareness there as he's backpedaling. He falls right into the restricted circle, tries to take charge right underneath the basket, and that's an easy call for the officials for the opportunity to go to the free throw line for one more.
Blackwell made a career best 37 threes last season as a junior. Averaged 6 points per game. Has an unconventional three in this one. It's 10-4, Army on top as they get their sharpshooter, Lonnie Grayson, back into the lineup. Graves on the outside, breaks the perimeter. Forearm shiver, gives it up down low, and Hardnett finishes at the rack.
Good read by Hardnett to understand that Army had shifted into a 2-3 zone and then found a little spot where he can get an easy layup.
Rucker. Peterson the finish. Rucker with the pass and the assist over the top. The jump pass to the big, cutting to the goal. Nickelberry is bumped and fouled on his drive. Just the second foul on Army West Point.
Yeah, you see Cross get a little too physical trying to stop the drive. You got to play defense with your feet, not your hands. And in that particular case, it'll be a whistle against Army.
Get a look at Army head coach Jimmy Allen in his 5th season. Was very pleased with his team's effort. They've started 2-0. Looking for a 3-0 start. Buffalo with possession. Sagu coasting in, puts it through, sticks it from close range. Army turns it over. Rucker was out of bounds on the catch. Buffalo coached by Jim Whitesell in his 2nd season. When he was the associate head coach for Nate Oates and others the previous 4 seasons at Buffalo. Nickelberry operates the show this possession for Buffalo. Sagu, fouled. Gets hammered on the inside. This will put Ronald Sagu at the stripe for Buffalo.
Yeah, Sagu definitely got my memo about keep attacking the basket. Back-to-back opportunities for him to draw a foul by taking it to the rim. This time he'll get 2 free throws, and only 1 3-point attempt by Buffalo so far in this ball game, almost 7 minutes into it, just because it's pounding the paint, trying to get into that restricted area and score close to the rim. Hasn't resulted in a lead for Buffalo, but it has definitely kept them involved in this game. Again, only 5 of 21 in their opener, so if the 3-pointer isn't there, attacking the rim always will be.
Buffalo's social media department had a great video on YouTube. A day in the life of Ronald Sagu and Jonathan Williams. Both those guys get up around 5 a.m. and get shots up by 6 a.m. every morning. Army on the run. And West Point headed to the stripe. A foul on the inside. They're piling up for Buffalo. With 13:05 to go in this first half. That is the 6th foul on the Bulls. And this puts Army's Aaron Duhart at the stripe, trying to add to a close 2-point lead.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fouls in transition for those defensive fouls. And Buffalo wants to play defense without fouling, obviously, because here we are, only 13:05 left in the first half, and you could see them taking advantage of the bonus situation a lot. Army already shooting their 4th free throw right there.
And they've made all of them. They lead 14-10. Duhart is on the board. Sagu on the other end. Man on the outside for Army gives it up. A hop step into the lane and the finger roll from Grayson. Quick rise 3, Gallion from the corner. It's off the mark and Duhart clears for Army. Increasing the tempo for West Point. Euro step, shot, rolled in. A friendly roll for Duhart. He's had an impact off the bench and Army leads by 6.
Yeah, the Bulls slowing it down, but it was a back and forth, up-tempo ball game for the last few possessions before that made field goal, and that's the pace that I love watching here in college basketball.
Army's made 5 of their last 6 shots, and Nickelberry wrenches it loose on the inside and lays it home. Buffalo needed that one. They trim it to a 4-point game. Duhart exploring, gives it up. Caldwell is fouled, which will take us to break. Army on top 18-14. Army West Point with a 4-point lead, trying to make it back-to-back wins over Buffalo. They won last year's matchup by a baker's dozen. This is college basketball on Flow Hoops.
Being a pro athlete, it's extremely important to be prepared. It's extremely important to put the right things in your body. That's the great thing about BioSteel. It's getting me in the right shape to be able to go on the field and be the best Patrick Mahomes that I can be. The best thing about this sport and the platform that you have, you get to impact the future generation. And having something that tastes good that also makes you healthy is something that's special.
Welcome back to Bubbleville, the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. I'm James Westling. Joining me on the call, the analyst for the Austin Spurs of the NBA's G League, Carl Shoney. And Carl, Army, they lead it 18-14. They're 0 of 5 from downtown, but from inside the arc, they're 7 of 8 on 2-pointers.
Yeah, and I think that's going to have to be the key for Army. We saw them start 0 for 7 yesterday, and a few of these three-point shots have been rushed, so maybe it just sort of needs to be a start where they attack the basket. And once Buffalo is keying in on defense interior-wise, that's when it might open up the game outside. But there's still plenty of ball game left, and we saw yesterday Army around this point really start to explode from deep and create that separation against Central Connecticut State. So maybe that's the game plan for Army, but so far both teams 0 for 3 for 3 and 0 for 5 for Army from behind the arc. So, you know, I think both teams need to just go ahead and continue looking for that high percentage look inside.
Josh Caldwell at the stripe. Army yet to miss a free throw in this one. Get some help from the glass, and Army has started 5 of 5 from the foul line. They were towards the bottom of the league in the Patriot League a season ago, only 61% from the foul line last year as a club, but they led the conference in field goal percentage at 47%. They get great looks in their half-court offense. That's
good old broadcaster jinx.
They lead by 5.
We'll say that you were the reason they missed that free throw there, James.
Nathan Williams is back in for Buffalo. Hardnett trying to slip it to him, in and out of his hands, and Caldwell goes end-to-end with body control and a layup. He beelines to the bucket and scores.
A really good body control, as you mentioned, and then that fast break. Army's been making it a point to push the break, even after made baskets, to try and just get back to the other side of the court.
Williams and Segu, roommates on the Buffalo campus. Shot off the mark. Bertram trying to keep it alive. Army by 7 with the ball. Jared Cross out front. Wings it left. Rucker burrows to the foul line. Now they hook it on the inside. Backdoor feed. Cross can't finish. Great cut. Williams one-on-one. The pull and the connection.
There you go. Williams getting it going for his first bucket after missing a good chunk of this first quarter with foul trouble. But with Buffalo down, they knew they had to get one of their best players back out there, and I think he's going to be effective.
Alex King's three doesn't drop. Buffalo, they've won 79 games over the last 3 seasons. 14th most wins in the country during that stretch. Williams forces one, wanted a foul. Army has numbers. Rucker, the freshman. It swirls in, and they will count it. And one. Jalen Rucker with an acrobatic basket for Army.
Yeah, you see Army getting right back in transition after the missed bucket, and Williams deserved the foul, didn't get the whistle, and he complained to the ref. And, you know, somebody long and athletic like that really helps in transition. So his half a glance over to the ref looking for the foul might have cost his team the fast break the other way. Defense out of position, get the and one opportunity.
Buffalo basketball trailing by 7. We're yet to see a 3 go in. These teams combined 0 of 10 from downtown. Graves from the top, on target.
Yeah, that time the broadcaster jinx works in the favor of Buffalo, and we see our first 3 go down, and you know that can really help Buffalo get back into this game.
First points for the all-league guard for Buffalo, Javon Graves. And the Bulls have numbers, 4 on 3. Williams keeps it himself, all tangled up with a Black Knight. Call the foul on Alex King. This puts Williams at the stripe, 4-2 for Buffalo.
Yeah, even though Williams didn't get the whistle the last time, he's still aggressive going to the rim, and definitely the refs had to call this one as he gets his forearms tied up there, and an easy call against King.
Free throw spits out Williams with those 2 fouls. Nickelberry also has 2 fouls for Buffalo in this first half. The Bulls have 8. 4-point game. Army on top. Army has started 0 of 6 from downtown. They were 0 of 7. Missed their first 7 threes yesterday and then caught fire and finished with 15 in their 22-point win over Central Connecticut State. King weaving his way down the left lane line with the left hand. Soft touch off the window.
Yeah, Williams and King going at it is length against length, and you have to like the way King switched it over to the left side of the court, went off the left side of the block, and nice shot.
Segu's running right-hander, draws a foul.
Been a lot of whistles here in this first half of the first half, but definitely something that I think both teams have earned, and the officials putting the pressure to, you know, continue deciding whether they're going to have to call these fouls or they're going to continue calling it the way they've been calling it. But both teams aggressive going towards the basket, especially considering that there's only 1 3-pointer made between them. I could see this continuing to be a trend in this ball game where both teams want to take it to the rim and draw the fouls, and free throws might be a huge part of this game, as it looks like they're pretty even in the free throw shots, being the 6th one for Buffalo, and Army has 7 free throw attempts on the game too.
Foul over the back called on Buffalo. Ronaldo Segu is an 88% foul shooter. He was named the MAC 6th Man of the Year last season.
Well, Nickelberry picking up his 3rd foul there. Let's see if he continues. I guess they're going to keep him in the game, but that's a tough one. As it looks like, yeah, now they might sub Nickelberry out, but this will initiate the 1-and-1 opportunity for Army. And the final 8:52, they're going to be in the double bonus, it looks like. So if I'm doing my math correctly here, so we'll have to see if Army really pushes that and avoids the shooting the 3-pointers and perimeter shots the rest of this half.
King can't capitalize on the front end of the bonus. Opportunity for Buffalo to cut the deficit in half. Williams had it poked away, drops it behind his back, gives it up to Graves, left alone on the scramble, can't sink it. Cleared on the backside by Army. Grayson pulls the trigger. barely clips the side iron. Baseball ahead, Gallion, and one, flexing his muscles. It's a 2-point game.
Yeah, Jaeger really should have just wrapped up right there. That swipe is just inviting an easy call for the officials, as you have to give him a bear hug and make sure you don't get the flagrant, but that's an easy play and continuation for Gallion.
Free throw is airborne and true. Buffalo 5 of 7 from the foul line. 1-point contest.
Don't look now, James, but Army's 0 for 7 from 3, and that was when they started their hot streak from 3. But I really want them to keep attacking the rim and take advantage of this bonus situation.
Grayson, it's a long 2 around and out. Rebound tipped from Williams to Ronaldo Segu. Segu crosses. Leaves it for Bertram. Leans in, but he can't score. That would have given Buffalo their first lead in quite some time since the early minutes. A deflection and a steal, and Bertram trying to lob it up the floor for Gallion. Noah Jaeger beats him to the ball for the steal. Cross in the corner. Peterson with the offensive rebound. And Grayson has his first triple.
Well, they had to go 0 for 8 this time before they hit their 3, but Grayson, who knocked down 8 threes yesterday against Central Connecticut State, opens up his first 3-point shot or 3-point score, and that could be a big factor for Army down the stretch of this half.
The Black Knights lose Bertram. Sails in for a bucket, the assist from Graves. Had 81 dimes a season ago for Buffalo. Madden is checked in for Army. Cross, rise and fire over Williams, sputters off. There's only been 3 combined offensive rebounds as Graves goes coast to coast. Can't finish, and a foul. If that's on Army, that is their 7th. Both teams are in the bonus as we head to a break with 6:27 to go in this first half. It's a tight one. Army leads by 2. This is college basketball on Flow Hoops.
Who are you? You're so mean. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I'm you from the future, here to warn you about 2020. Can't be that bad, right? Let's just say it gets a bit dramatic. There's no toilet paper, no hand sanitizer, or sports. Oh, and trips were canceled. What? Listen! Just choose free cancellation on Hotels.com because no one knows what the future holds. Anything else? We're bald.
Welcome back to Bubbleville as we're here with an early Army lead, 28-26, and it's turned into a free throw shooting contest early on here as Army's already in the bonus. They've attempted 8 free throws, knocked down 5 of them the other way. Buffalo has attempted 7 and knocked down 5 of their free throw attempts, and we have a good old-fashioned up-tempo basketball game. Neither team really lighting it up from deep. Only one make apiece for Buffalo and Army. Army 1 of 9 from 3 and Buffalo 1 of 6 from deep. But it's really been about scoring inside the arc for both teams. If they can't get to the free throw line, it's been nonstop attacking the paint. And that's what you love to see, a good old-fashioned physical basketball game. And as we continue on here, Army will come back onto the court and be ready for a Bertram foul on a loose ball by Peterson before we left for a timeout.
Bertram coming off career highs yesterday. He had 8 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He played in 18 games last season after missing all of the non-conference play due to an injury. 6'11". Free throw off the mark. An inadvertent buzzer here in Bubbleville. the Mohegan Sun. Play continues. Army has the ball. Caldwell's had a big half for the Black Knights. Takes it to the block. Kicks it out. Madden for a three. Around and off. Almost went. Army now 1 of 10 from deep. In the corner, Galleon's three. Money. Buffalo has, this is their first lead.
Yeah, and it comes off of a couple threes that help them with their run here, and I imagine that could be a big factor to open up the paint game as well, as they've been really aggressive taking it inside, and now that you have to respect their shooters a little bit after a couple makes, we'll see if that changes the way Army's playing defense.
Great catch by Finke in traffic, and he sends it out to Duhart for a three.
Yeah, right as I say that the three-point ball hasn't been a factor for either team, they immediately start the shift with a couple threes apiece.
Graves backpedals into the front court. Trying to split the defense, lost it. Army with a breakaway, hustling back, Segu. With the steal for Buffalo, ahead to Williams. Gets a great screen from Bertram, who clears out space. The road grader. Williams lays it in, and Buffalo has tied the game at 31.
Yeah, 4-point swing right there, and you can't just lob it ahead for your big man to try and outrun the defense like that. That was a mistake on Grayson's end.
Duhart circles the wagons. Grayson lets it fly. That one way off the mark.
Yeah, he hesitated. He wanted to make the extra pass. Instead, noticed he was open and was just off on his rhythm.
Segu splashes in a triple. Buffalo heating up. Their third tray. They lead by 3, 34-31, forcing an Army West Point timeout. Will stay here with 4:27 to go in this first half of action.
Yeah, you can really start to see the three-point confidence coming from Buffalo. They had only knocked down one up to that shift, and then they come out and knock down two, and that helps them first get their first lead of the game. Army comes right back and answers back with 3 of their own. Buffalo scores another 3 moments later after a fast break on that 4-point swing, and we talked about it in the pregame. This is a very evenly matched ball game. I can't wait to see how this half ends, and I get the feeling we're in for a good one in the second half as well. And this is a first true test for both teams. Yesterday, Buffalo playing Towson in the third game in 3 days, and we'll have to see how Towson's season ends up, but they were certainly playing a little bit of a tough matchup, as they were probably tired, and Buffalo playing their first game of the season had a lot of fresh legs. Army on the other side, their three-point barrage really helped separate them against Central Connecticut State, but Buffalo is a much better defensive team, so if you see now the shift of emphasis for Army is probably going to be at least making sure that none of those three-point shooters get off on Buffalo's side. They did knock down 5 three-pointers yesterday, and it's potential they found a little bit more of a rhythm here today, as they're probably going to have to start working that into just the way they've been attacking the basket. It's been a really fun game to watch, as both teams really have played physical and tried to find their rhythm from deep, but taking it inside to really get their offenses going here 3/4 of the way through the first half.
As Buffalo takes the floor, Ronaldo Segu leads the Bulls with 10 points on 3 of 5 shooting. On the other side, it's Aaron Duhart leading Army with 7. Army West Point with the ball, trailing for just the second possession. King down low, floats it in with the right hand over the left shoulder. He has 6.
Yeah, I'm going to love that matchup all game long. King versus Williams looks like it's fun, evenly matched one, and I think they're going to go at it both ways.
Graves with the flush as he attacks baseline side, hammers it down. Buffalo back on top by 3. Rucker gets a screen. Navigates down the lane. Grayson, wild shot off the mark. He was bumped. Secured by Buffalo, ahead to Graves. Pulls the trigger. An air ball. May have been partially blocked, at least contested by Rucker. And King plucks it for Army. King on a stop and start move. Tries to shovel it along the in line. A steal and a run out. Graves. This could be showtime. He lays it in. Buffalo has their largest lead here in the closing minutes of this first stanza.
Yeah, Graves caught it in stride, and I think he wanted the dunk as well, but went with the safer play for the layup to make sure that he could just get the 2 points.
A foul on the drive by Rucker. Team foul number 10 on Buffalo. Both teams in the bonus. Army going to the line for a pair. Jalen Rucker, the 5'10 freshman from Baltimore, had 12 points yesterday for Army.
Yeah, here's another look at that dunk by Graves, and once you get past Grayson and there's a wide open lane, he knows what to do with it and elevates for the slam.
Peterson back into the lineup, the freshman for Army. You see Janathan Williams out there for Buffalo with those 2 fouls. He's still logged a handful of minutes, even with those 2 fouls. He picked up his second at the 17:49 mark. We were just underway. Coming off a career night, 28 points and 12 rebounds for Buffalo yesterday. Bulls have it. Preseason picked 4th in the MAC, who did away with divisions. That's new for this season. Sagu pull-up, mid-range. Can't get it down. Caldwell has it for Army. Gathering speed, flips it to King. Puts it on the floor, slices in, draws a crowd, and drops it off the table with the bouncer. And the finish from Peterson. And Army is drawn to within 2. "30-second timeout will stay here with 2:38 to play in this first half.
Yeah, you see Army going back to what they had success with earlier when they had the lead, as it was a nice drive by King and an easy bucket for Peterson as his man left him to help on the King drive. And I could definitely see Army going back to that. You know, that 3-point shot, even if you get a few to go, it might help you with your confidence, but Army's still only 2 of 12 from deep. They have to go with what's been effective, and they're in the double bonus as well, so if they can force Buffalo to foul them, no matter where on the court, it's 2 free throws, so long as it's not an offensive foul, obviously, by Buffalo. And on those team fouls, it's going to be important to see if Army can draw a few more of those to get to the line here at the end of the first half.
Sagu frills to the left and then flings it across the floor. Galleon's 3 is off the mark. Army can tie or take the lead. King, it caroms right back to him, and he lays it in. Active hands. King on the recovery, able to score inside.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, but it's a nice play to get the 2.
Sagu in some trouble. Graves and Sagu playing hot potato with it. Galleon twisting his way inside, lost the handle. The thievery, and the finish on the other end. Josh Caldwell having a nice half for Army, and they've reclaimed the lead, 40-38. It is up-tempo here in the final couple of minutes of this half.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo wants to get a good shot here. They're going to run that horn set.
Fagan sets the screen for Sagu. The roll's not there, so Sagu keeps and feathers it in. Drizzles it through to tie the game at 40.
Yeah, Sagu had settled for some jumpers the last couple of possessions when he was the ball handler, and that time he does what he's good at and takes it right to down the lane line for the easy score.
Ronaldo Sagu has a team-high 12 points. And a foul on the open floor with 1:14 to play in this first half as both teams looking gassed. It's been up and down. Tucker toes the line for Army.
Yeah, that's a tough one to take if you're Galleon. A little hand check and 2 free throws coming up for Army.
Rucker has 4. Hits them both. It's a 2-point lead for Army West Point. Closing in on a minute to go in the first half. Graves knifing into the lane and scores for Buffalo.
It's a way to do it against that matchup zone. He knew help was coming, didn't matter. Nice floater, and that's a good way to score in the paint.
Graves has kind of a quiet 9, but pacing for a really nice outing. Peterson slips back door. Extra passing around the wheel. Cross unable to reverse it. 8 on the shot clock. Quick hands by Graves to force a turnover. He got a hand in the passing lane, and it caroms off the fingertips of Caldwell on the ricochet and out of bounds.
Yeah, Army was doing a really nice job working around the perimeter. I think they found a little bit of a rhythm, but sometimes when you're in rhythm, you get a little confident and go quickly. And that time, a little shift from the wing to the baseline made a little errant pass, and that's why it was wide in the turnover.
Graves one-on-one, has his pocket picked. It's a 2-on-1 break. Caldwell keeps it himself, and he's fouled.
Tough foul to take there at the end of the half. You know, you want to contest the shot, but physical play at the rim. We'll get another chance to look at it right here. And yep, a little bit too much torso-to-torso contact, and that'll lead to these free throws. And really solid outing from Caldwell here as he's looking to break double digits with these free throws.
20 seconds to go in the first half. Who will take the lead into the locker room? Both of these teams undefeated on the young year. Buffalo just 1-0. They played last night, their opener against Towson. And Army won by 22 over Central Connecticut State. And they lead by 2 here. Caldwell's had a really nice performance. 10 points for this Army West Point team. He leads them in scoring. Also has 4 steals. Final 10 seconds. Graves out high. Bound to take the last shot. He gives it up. Sagu throws it up. Nearly banked it in. We've reached intermission. Army West Point 44, Buffalo 42. Here at the break, both teams shooting better than 50% from the floor. It's been up-tempo. It's been entertaining the first 20 minutes of this contest. He's Carl Shoney, and I'm James Westling. We'll take a break. This is college basketball from the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, host of Bubbleville on Flow Hoops. DMJ Cafe, Bubbleville. Some great shots of the Mohegan Sun Resort here in Connecticut. Our contest has been as good as advertised. We knew it would be close, and neither club's been able to create any separation in that first half. Alongside Carl Schoening, I'm James Westling. Army leads 44-42. Big story for Buffalo. Jonathan Williams coming off that career high 28 points and 12 rebounds yesterday. He picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes, Carl. But here in the second half, they can take the reins off.
Yeah, despite getting into that foul trouble early, he still played 11 minutes in the first half, and he will probably, he did a good job not picking up a third foul. He'll probably be a key factor to Buffalo here in the second half.
Army with the ball to start our final session. Jalen Rucker wore jersey number 1 yesterday. He's sporting 51 here today. There's the Princeton backdoor cut and the finish from Alex King, who had a nice first half.
Yeah, we were talking about that matchup in the first half, Williams versus King, and King goes ahead and adds on to an already pretty solid day performance so far with 8 points.
Williams shovels it to Bertram in the big at 6'11". The senior from Apple Valley sticks it from in deep for Buffalo.
And that's a good sign for Buffalo to get Bertram going early. He can be a big factor here in the second half, as he was a key performer yesterday against Towson.
King short on the 3. Great tempo to the first half. It was up and down. There were a lot of whistles in the first 5-10 minutes of that first half, and then it became a really fluid contest. A foul on the open floor here. This one's on Army. They call it on Grayson, his first foul.
Yeah, got to give a lot of credit to these officials. They've done a really good job officiating this game. I've enjoyed the flow they've allowed this game to have.
That's offensive. Javon Graves with the push-off, trying to get to the rim. He had 9 points in the first half. That's his first foul.
Yeah, anytime you have that little chicken wing extended, it's an easy call for the officials. And more often than not, it's going to be that offensive whistle. And very rarely do they let that kind of extension go.
Caldwell turned away by Fagan. King draws a crowd, bounces it across the lane. Peterson in 2 deep. Shot clock winding down. Caldwell burrows to the bucket and draws a foul. On the floor.
They'll call this on the floor. Yeah. They'll call it on the floor, but you got to love that aggressive mindset of going to the basket. And even though both teams started to get a couple three-pointers going down there towards the end of the first half, it's still going to be very important to get to the line and get easy shots near the rim.
Lonnie Grayson at the controls. Coming off a career high. He had 8 threes, 24 points yesterday. Just 5 in the first half for Army. It was Caldwell who had the hot hand. Shot clock at 5. King, European move, and he lays it home. Alex King with the first 4 points of this second half for Army.
Yeah, and that's really impressive. He's finding his rhythm, and it's mostly been on the drives, and I think he's getting a lot of confidence in that attack.
Jalen Rucker commits the foul. It's called on Army, their second of the half. It's on the floor. Ronaldo Sagu will inbound for this Buffalo team. Army won last year's matchup by 13, 89-76. It was their biggest win of the year. Army trying to start 3-0. A rainbow inside, Bertram. Great footwork. Can't stick it, and King controls the rebound for Army. Up the floor to Duhart. Trailing Caldwell. It's Fagan off the floor. Can't clear his J. That was Grayson in the lane, and now King topside. Shot clock at 10. Duhart. Great closeout and a block, and it's out of bounds underneath as King caught it. Oh, we have a foul. Buffalo can't believe it.
Yeah, I think they're going to call this on Williams, saying that he pushed King towards the baseline, and that was why he caught the rebound out of bounds. And, man, that's a tough way to pick up your third personal if you're Williams. didn't quite see that.
Duhart inbounds Caldwell. Peterson with his back to the goal, trying to get it inside, and he does find Caldwell for a gimme. Josh Caldwell has 12, the assist. High-low action from Peterson. Quick rise three, Graves offline. Duhart claims it. Scans the floor. Hooks it down low. King pulls it out. Army nursing a 6-point lead. This is their largest lead of the contest. Buffalo hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes, and Peterson with the reverse layup. Army leads by 8. The Black Knights on a 6-0 run to take an 8-point lead here in the early minutes of this second half. Timeout on the floor. It's a media timeout. We'll pause. Army by 8 here in Bubbleville, the Mohegan Sun.
Who are you? You're so mean. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I'm you from the future, here to warn you about 2020. Can't be that bad, right? Let's just say it gets a bit dramatic. There's no toilet paper, no hand sanitizer, or sports. Oh, and trips were canceled. What? Listen! Just choose free cancellation on Hotels.com because no one knows what the future holds. Anything else? We're bald.
College basketball is back on Flow Hoops. The Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, host of Bubbleville, featuring over 30 teams and 40 games. This is our final holiday weekend contest here on Flow Hoops. Army up by 8, 52-44 over Buffalo. This one's been as good as advertised, as Army trying to get to 3-0 on the season. And Carl, this Army team, they're second in the nation in what they call rim and three rate, meaning they don't miss any layups. When they get it inside, they score, and they've obviously been really good from downtown in their first 2 games. Made 13 threes in their opener, and then 15 threes yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really key rate here in the modern age of basketball to pay attention to, because the most efficient shots are either at the rim or behind the three-point line. And you see they even have the NBA 3 out there in case anybody wants to test their range. But it's definitely been fun watching in the last couple of days here on Flow Hoops.
Graves on the outside. Plays catch with Nickelberry. Contact, offensive. Nickelberry picks up his 4th foul in 9 minutes of action off the bench. He spelled Williams, who had the 2 quick ones in the first half. That's number 4.
Yeah, Duhart showing you the taking a charge drill done to perfection as he takes all that contact into his chest. And Nickelberry wishes he had that one back, because that was very clearly an offensive foul, easy for the officials to make once Duhart hit the floor.
Buffalo's 5th steal of the contest and a foul on the open floor. Well, we praised the pace of the final part of that first half. The second half starting kind of how the game started right off tip-off. Slow and a lot of whistles.
Yeah, and that'll lead to some free throws later more often than not, but we'll have to see how both teams maybe adjust to the officials calling a little bit tighter.
Williams, the lefty, against King. Steps through and scores. Rattles it in to make it a 6-point deficit.
Yeah, Jonathan Williams trying to not let King get the better of him. King's had a very solid game so far and a really good start to the second half, and Williams will rise to that competition.
Off the fingertips of the aforementioned King, and Williams has a steal. Gallion. And Williams on the sideline. They reverse it left to Segu. Being pestered out on the arc by Duhart. Turns him around and sinks it. A foul line, Jay. Ronaldo Segu has had a big game for Buffalo. He has a team-high 14.
Yeah, and you can tell he practices that one. Great footwork, and he knew that he was going to shake the defender with that kind of move.
Duhart trying to counter and lob it over the top. Quick hands to knock it away out of bounds. Takes us to our first media timeout. 15-13 to go. Army clinging to a 4-point lead. This is college basketball on Flow Hoops.
%52 of men between 40 and 70 experience erectile dysfunction, but many don't get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine ED medication prescribed by a healthcare professional from the comfort of home. If prescribed, you'll receive your medication with free 2-day shipping in discreet packaging. Start your free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV.
4-point game, it's close. Here at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, host of Bubbleville. And Buffalo won't go away. 4-point lead for Army, trying to fend off a Bulls rally. Ronaldo Segu keeping Buffalo in it. He has a team-high 14 points.
Yeah, it was Williams yesterday against Towson. Segu today really showing off his offensive skill set, and he's really been knocking all his shots down from inside 15 feet. And even a little bit of a jumper, so we'll have to see how Segu's rest of the day his progresses, as Army has a pretty stout defense, might start keying on him and force him to pass and show off some of his playmaking ability.
Army had an 8-point lead before back-to-back baskets by Buffalo. Rucker, the inbounder, he's the trigger man for this Army team. Army West Point in the corner. Blackwell for a 3. Or did he have a foot on the line? It's a long 2. Blackwell, catch and release. He drills it.
That's a tough one to take for a long 2 because it was a design setup for that 3-point shot.
Williams, bucket in and 1. The finish from Jonathan Williams. Going to the line, and all of a sudden he has 9 points. If he hits this free throw, he's in double figures in limited action. He's only played 16 minutes because of foul trouble.
Yeah, King and Williams has been the matchup to watch in this ball game, and I've really enjoyed it. I think both of them have been displaying a lot of slashing ability and scoring ability, and it's been a good matchup out there at the forwards position.
3-point lead for Army. Finke out front. And Blackwell and King in the neighborhood. Neither of them could handle the hot pass around their knees. Turnover Army, that is their 10th.
Yeah, poor spacing right there to have 2 players in the same spot. Somebody was on the wrong page and can't really get too much into the finger pointing game. You just have to accept the turnover and get back on the defensive side of the ball.
This has not been a 3-point shooting contest. Both teams trying to get to the rim as Williams grinding his way into the paint. Missed it, Hardnett, follow good. Hoop in the harm, and Laquil Hardnett, who started his career at Cincinnati, where he redshirted his freshman year. Played in 30 games last season and started 5. Headed to the line for the Bulls.
Yeah, just a hard offensive rebound inch, then immediately puts it up, and that's the best opportunity to get and ones, because usually the defense will more so than not ignore that rule of verticality and try and swipe at the ball thinking they still have a chance at the offensive rebound.
Played his high school ball in Philadelphia at Perry Hall. He's just a sophomore. As Captain Obvious looks on from the baseline. We're tied at 54. Rucker, elbow J. Flat, secured by Segu. Buffalo wants to run. Decelerates at the right wing, finds Williams, struggling with his footing, held and fouled at the top of the key. They call it on Army. That is their 6th team foul.
Yeah, Chris Mann just a little too aggressive right there, and he draws the tough task of dealing with an in-rhythm Williams while King is getting his rest.
Williams gets in deep, scores it, another and one in Buffalo. They are going right to the rack on the offensive end, hammering their way inside around the cup.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. Williams, your best scorer, you know that he has the mismatch, and he doesn't care that Peterson came over to help. He just went ahead and finished through the contact. And sometimes as the offensive player, you have to initiate the contact. That time the defense did it, and what a great way for Williams to get the and one.
Williams with 13 points, and Buffalo has grabbed the lead. It's a 9-0 Buffalo run, an extended run of 13-2 over the last 2 minutes. Rucker out high, tries to turn the corner, turned away by Gallion. In the corner, Jared Cross's three is front-lipped and secured by Williams, directing traffic. On the move, Jonathan Williams crosses, draws a crowd. Graves left alone for a three. He's got it. It is pure, and Buffalo leads by 6, forcing an Army timeout.
Yeah, and that's what Williams on will do for you as he draws in all the defense. Graves, one of the better players for Buffalo, just wide open, takes that three, and this is really the best we've seen Buffalo play offensively. The officials has more or less swallowed their whistles and just made the right calls, and instead of maybe some more common tic-tac slow down the game fouls that they started the second half with. And Williams has been the one who's been taking advantage of that, either initiating the contact himself, going right at his defender, or drawing in the defense and getting the score or the assist. And it's just been a really solid run for Buffalo here, as at the moment they've had a 16-2 run in the last 2:24 and a 12-0 run in the last minute 20. And that's how this game got away from Army, is just this offensive onslaught from the Bulls.
60-54 Buffalo on a 16-2 extended flurry. They're on a 12-0 run over the last $120. They've made their last 3 shots. Army with the ball, down by 6, needing the basket. Grayson barely nicks the front rim. Karam's long to the top, and Williams gathering speed. No look on the inside, and Hardnett finishes at the rim. Buffalo on a 14-0 burst, and they lead by 8.
Yeah, just let Williams run the offense at this point. He's doing all the right things.
He's their catalyst here in Bubbleville. Corner 3, and Army needed that one. King reins it in. He has 13.
Yeah, Alex King needed to come back in here after that timeout, and he's been really productive here in the second half. And that's his 3rd field goal make, and they need him to come back into the game and be a productive player here as we almost hit the second half of the second half.
Williams big steps into the lane, not that time. Rebound booted around, secured by Caldwell, goes end to end with blazing speed to lay it in. Army's drawn to within 3.
Yeah, Buffalo wouldn't go away at first, and then they started to take the lead, and then Army now is the team that is answering back by being gritty. So I'm really loving this game. 2 evenly matched teams just having a nice old-school physical basketball game.
This has been one of the better games all weekend here at Bubbleville. Rucker fuels the break for the Black Knights. In the corner to Grayson, who's been quiet. King puts it on the floor, finds an alley, lost his footing, he slipped, tried to shovel it, but it's offline to Peterson, and the heist from Buffalo. Sagu finds the trailer, cutting to the goal. Gallion denied, the shot erased by Peterson. The freshman with the block. That sends us to a timeout. Buffalo on top. Charlie Peterson, the freshman from Indianapolis. Not in my house, not in the bubble. This is college basketball on Flow Hoops.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community. and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? AFreserve.com.
Alongside the analyst for the Austin Spurs of the NBA G League, he's Carl Schoening. I'm James Westling. We got a close one here at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut after Buffalo went on a 14-0 run and started to swell their lead. Army has chipped back into the deficit to get it down to 3, 62-59. Buffalo on top by 3. The Bulls coming off a 20-win campaign last year, the top rebounding team in the nation a season ago.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the conclusion here as we are moments away from the second half of the second half, as college basketball still likes to go with those two halves. I'm pretty sure they're the only league in the world to do the two halves still, but we're in for a fun final 11-41 here, as both of these teams have been answering haymakers with haymakers, and I think the defensive intensity is really about to turn up here after this timeout.
Buffalo with the ball. Williams has it blocked from behind, sticks with it, and able to score on the reverse. Rucker, waterbugs to the foul line, curls down the lane, and high off the glass, the freshman gets it down.
Both teams really starting out of the break with some tempo, and now a little half-court set here from Buffalo to see what they can do with the defense spread out.
Graves starts at the top and backs his man down to the middle of the lane, but can't score over Grayson. Caldwell in the corner. Rucker wings it left. Grayson for a 3, blocked. Graves all tangled up with Caldwell, and they whistle him for a foul.
Let's see if they call this in the act of shooting. Graves, yeah, Graves goes to the free throw line expecting it.
That was the 7th foul. Make it the 8th foul on Army, so it's either a 1-and-1 or he's at the line for 2. We'll find out here in a moment.
Yeah, they're giving him the 1-and-1, but yeah, I think that he probably deserves the 2 free throws. Graves will have to earn the two free throw attempts.
He is a natural scorer, but 65% from the foul line last year, a percentage he'd like to improve upon. Get some help from the backboard and gets that one to drop.
Got to give a lot of credit to the Buffalo defense. They have not lost a defender once on that floppy action, always ready to make sure that there's no three-pointer coming out of that floppy action on the baseline screens.
Shot clock at 7, jump past Grayson, left alone for a 3. Can he hit one? Yes! Just his second of the contest, his first of this second half. And Grayson coming off an 8-3 performance yesterday in their win over Central Connecticut State has drawn Army to within 1.
Yeah, somehow he was wide open. You got to knock down those practice jump shots when you get them.
Williams teed for it, pulled it back in. Plays catch with Segu. Drives baseline. Tough shot. Ronaldo Segu has 16. Caldwell. Nice find in the finish from Finke.
And that's what Caldwell does so well, is getting into the paint area, and as he draws the defender, it's a nice pocket pass for the easy layup. I think he just has to finish.
His second assist. Army's in their matchup zone. Dashing baseline, Segu. Out of bounds. Trying to tightrope the inline. And Army will have a chance to reclaim the lead. They've been able to weather the Buffalo storm. Army is connected on 5 of their last 6 shots.
Yeah, and now they have this opportunity to retake the lead, as see a couple substitutions made, and looking forward to this final 9:22 of the second half. This is shaping up to be the best game that we've called here in the last, since I've called here on Flow Hoops. I know that I'm coming in here just since yesterday.
These teams have looked really good here in the bubble. This one's lived up to the billing. King bumped and fouled. Is this on Gallion or is it on Williams? It's on Williams. That is his 4th foul.
It's a tough one to take, and I know it's not in Army's offense to just let one player go to work, but King has been doing so well that I kind of get the feeling they should maybe switch up some of what they're doing to let King go to work, because he has certainly been a motor keeping this offense in this game here in the second half.
Duhart finds Blackwell. Caldwell gets a touch, slips it back door, finesses a pass to King for a stuff. Army back on top.
Yeah, King on cue goes ahead and knocks down his 7th field goal. Very efficient night on 9 field goal attempts.
And a run out to Caldwell. Tipped ahead. Caldwell lays it in. Used his frame to shield the ball away from his defender. Army's on a 4-0 flurry. They lead by 3. Sagu gallops into the lane with the left hand.
Yeah, Sagu has been sort of the answer to any time they need a bucket on the offensive side of the ball for Buffalo. He can get right to the rim anytime he wants it, looks like.
King, too strong. Graves controls the rebound for Buffalo. Trots it up, high-stepping his way into the lane, weaving around defenders, got too far below the bucket, missed off the bottom of the rim. It's out of bounds to, I believe, Army, with 7:46 to go. Takes us to immediate timeout. Army West Point 70, Buffalo 69. It's back and forth here in Bubbleville at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? AFreserve.com.
Alongside Carl Schoening, I'm James Westling. An incredibly even contest. 70-69, Army by a tally. Both teams shooting over 50% from the floor. Each club, Carl, has made exactly 28 shots and exactly 4 threes. The only difference is one more free throw for Army.
Yeah, it's been a fun game, and you know, when it comes down to it, those free throws, as Army got into the bonus in the first half of the round, 8.5 minutes left to play, that could be the key difference down the stretch. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this one ends, as both of these teams looking to remain undefeated on the early season. And oh man, this has been a fun one in the bubble.
Over 30 teams in 40 games. The schedule is always changing here in the bubble. Poor Towson. They thought they were playing St. Bonaventure, Rhode Island, and Stephen F. Austin. They ended up with Virginia, San Francisco, and Buffalo. And that schedule was finalized less than 24 hours before their first game. And then St. Joseph's and Seton Hall were going to enter the bubble and play a game tomorrow. But then they nixed that idea, so that one's off the table. Both of these teams are undefeated on the young season. Buffalo just 1-0. They had their season opener canceled. Army on the other side, they are 2-0. Both these teams played yesterday right here on Flow Hoops. Shot clock into single digits. Lob over the top. Caldwell can't handle it. It's out of bounds. A rare miscue by Army.
Yeah, really tough pass. Right idea there by Duhart, as the back screen was the initial idea to try and free up a pass on that lob to the block. And, you know, the length of Buffalo really helped make that pass just off of the mark enough so Caldwell couldn't get his fingertips on it and goes out of bounds.
Ronaldo Segu has had the hot hand. A team-high 18 points for Buffalo as he brings it up and gets them into their offense. And a foul. Graves may have tweaked an ankle. He's going to walk it off. Foul is on Charlie Peterson, his second personal. 9th team foul on Army. And so Graves, once he gets to the line, will shoot free throws.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to see. You don't want your best player, arguably, to have any kind of nick there. And he shakes it off, and he'll get a chance to jog it off here after his free throws.
Shooting the 1-and-1. Can't get the bonus. And Graves 1 of 3 from the free throw line. Approaching 7 minutes to play. Army with the ball, nursing a 1-point lead. It's close. Duhart shimmies, gives it up to Peterson. Handoff left. Caldwell around the screen, wiggles, bounces to a Bull, a turnover. Number 13 on Army. Nickelberry's three is on target. Buffalo with just their 5th make from downtown, and they have the advantage, 72-70.
Yeah, it's David Nickelberry, who's been a big boost off the bench, making all 4 of his field goals. That's his first 3 attempt and his first 3 make. And in 12 minutes, 9 points, that's great efficiency to have off the bench and gives Buffalo's the lead.
A steal from Bertram. Active hands for Buffalo. That is their 9th steal. They were among some of the top teams in the nation last year in that category. They led the nation in rebounding. We're even in that department at 28 apiece. Segu on the handle, on the mismatch, drives in on the much bigger defender, Grayson. And we have a foul on the rebound. This is on Buffalo.
Yeah, I think a frustration foul on Segu there, as I believe, in my opinion, he deserved a trip to the free throw line, getting bumped on the drive. The officials decided to let that torso-to-torso contact go, and then just angrily, out of frustration, not getting that foul, commits the foul himself. And Segu will get probably his final rest here, as I imagine his 4 steals will be something big that Buffalo wants to get back into the game to add on to here towards the end of the game.
King out high to Rucker. 5.5 to go. Army down by 2. They have made 4 of their last 5 shots. Grayson, kick to the left. King's 3, well short. Secured by Hardnett of Buffalo. Caldwell increasing tempo. Rucker has it blocked from behind. Hardnett stuffs it out of bounds.
Yeah, Hardnett was the one who came in at the substitution during the whistle, and he comes in with a lot of energy, getting mixed up right away, and that block goes a long way here, as you'll see him just come right back into the play and finish things off, make sure that they have to earn it on the inbounds.
Rucker's 3, an air bank, secured by Nickelberry as he controls it for Buffalo. Up the floor to Graves, into their half-court set. Under 5 to go.
Buffalo wants a good shot here. That's why they're slowing it down.
Graves, extra pass in the corner. Segu. Nickelberry offensive rebound as he spears it down low and puts it in on the inline. 74-70, Buffalo on top.
Nickelberry continuing his phenomenal performance as he breaks double digits and been a big boost off the bench for Buffalo.
Averaged less than 2 points per game a season ago. Caldwell attacks, puts it through. 2-point game. That ends a 4-minute scoring drought for Army. Graves at the top. Sagu with hang time, couldn't get it down, and Hardnett is over the back, climbing the ladder to try and keep it alive for Buffalo.
Yeah,
that is the 7th Buffalo foul. So now Army at the line in the 1-and-1. When we come back with 3:49 to go, our final media timeout. Buffalo clinging to a 2-point lead. It's entertaining here in the bubble at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
Being a pro athlete, it's extremely important to be prepared. It's extremely important to put the right things in your body. That's the great thing about BioSteel. It's getting me in the right shape to be able to go out on the field and be the best Patrick Mahomes that I can be. The best thing about this sport and the platform that you have, you get to impact future generations. And having something that tastes good that also makes you healthy is something that's special. Being a pro athlete.
With Carl Schoening, I'm James Westling. A 2-point lead for Buffalo, 74-72 in our final media timeout. Carl, what will be the difference down the stretch?
You know, it might be these free throws here, as Finke will be the one going to the line after the textbook box out. He draws the foul against Hardnett, and you know, I hate to say that that's the way a game might end, because that might be one of the more undeserving ways for such an exciting game to end. But I'll be happy with an overtime period as well. Anything to keep this game rolling. This has been a very fun one to watch and broadcast.
Buffalo on top. The Bulls went 20-12 last year, 11-7 in the MAC. The MAC did away with divisions. That's new for this season. They were preseason picked 4th. Army out-rebounding Buffalo, 32-31. Buffalo led the nation in rebounding last season, and offensive rebounds per game. They only have 6 of those. Both teams shooting around 50%. Army at 53, Buffalo at 49. It's been a grinder. Both teams getting a lot of their points from in the paint. Just 5 threes for the Bulls and 4 for Army. Nick Finke at the line. Free throw is offline. Buffalo trying to expand their lead to 2 possessions. With 3:44 to go, and Ronaldo Sagu trotting the ball across the midcourt line for Buffalo. Wings it in the corner. Graves a 3, wide left. Fumbled around, secured by Caldwell. They have numbers. Army hits the trailer. Rucker gave it up. That's out of bounds off of Buffalo. Army dodges a bullet.
Don't pass out of a shot. You see right there, Finke went for the rebound instead of being ready for that, and that's because he left his feet looking to shoot a jumper, and that's on Rucker right there, the fact that they didn't score on that fast break. I think they could have had an opportunity, and they're lucky that they keep possession.
Peterson, Caldwell, Rucker, Grayson, and King the 5 for Army West Point. Shot clock at 8. Rucker roars in. Can't finish. A good look. Buffalo snatches the rebound. Under 3 to play as Ronaldo Sagu will milk some clock. A screen from Hardnett. Hedged by Peterson. The throwback, Nickelberry. Struggling with his bounce with the shot clock winding down. Looks over his shoulder to get the call. It was looking at Sagu, and Buffalo burns a timeout with 8 on the timer. We'll stay here with 2:46 to go in the game. 74-72, Buffalo on top.
Yeah, I really like this timeout. Even though it's going to be hard to score with 8 seconds left, nothing was really happening in that Buffalo possession, and this is a huge possession in the ball game. 2:46 left, and you might see quick play that's designed and set that they've practiced, as opposed to just trying to figure out how to operate with what seemed to spacing right there. And as solid as an evening as Nickelberry had, I don't think Buffalo really wanted him to create on the wing right there with 8 seconds left, and a really good timeout because they want to make sure that this becomes a 2-possession game at the end of this possession and try and keep Army at arm's length the final 2:46.
Javon Graves, the inbounder for Buffalo. They have 8 to shoot. Hardnett, Nickelberry, Sagu, Williams. The 5 for the Bulls. Shot clock at 5. Trying to get a shot off for Graves. Gives it up. Sagu passed up a shot, and it leads to a shot clock violation.
Yeah, I think that was on Graves, really, because it was designed for Graves to come off of a curl and get it on the wing and maybe do something, as that baseline was pretty open. Graves decides to be a little unselfish, as Sagu's had the hot hand this game, and I think he wishes he had that isolation on the wing back.
2.5 to go. Rucker gets below the circle, lobs inside. Peterson with the double pump at the rim, able to finish and tie it up at 74.
And it's been a 2-minute, 10-second drought here for Buffalo. They need to get a bucket.
Williams charges into the lane. Leaner, no. Tip in off the window, secured by Army. Gathering speed, Caldwell. Hits the trailer on the sideline. Quick closeout by Graves. And Grayson kills his dribble to give it up. With 1:54 to play. Deadlocked at 74 here in Bubbleville at the Mohegan Sun. Army's Rucker, the point guard, the freshman. Trying to get it to King, who flashed open. Can't finish the gimme. A whistle. And a foul on Buffalo, putting Army at the line.
Yeah, we'll have to see what exactly the official saw here, as King just gets hit from behind, and you know, he's looking for the foul, and then he gets it, as that's a tough one for Gallion to take. But man, that's one of those where the official would have let that slide if it had been a made bucket.
King bricks the free throw. This is his first trip to the line. Make it his second. He's 0 of 2 for the contest. Shot 64% from the stripe a season ago, and he gives Army a 1-point advantage. 1:39 to play. Approaching 90 seconds. Graves directing traffic out high. Comes to the wing. Looks inside. It's bottled up. Gets it back on the boundary from Gallion. Graves. Contact. Step back. Pinball's off. Rucker has it for Army. Up by 1 with 1:15 to go. Army trying to get to 3-0.
Huge possession here for Army, and they've gone away from their traditional motion offense here to let Rucker create a little.
Shot clock under 10. King pops out. Handoff Grayson. Grayson, their top scorer on the season, has it blocked with the shot clock at 1. A foul before the buzzer. Caldwell caught it, got bumped from behind.
What
An
a terrible
foul on Buffalo.
Yeah, what a terrible possession for Army, as they really had nothing going that entire time, and then Grayson's 3 gets blocked. Hardnett just trying to chase that loose ball, doesn't quite see the smaller man down there, and man, that'll lead to free throws here for Caldwell, and Army gets bailed out with some luck here in the final minute of the game, and they can pull 1 possession potentially.
Team foul number 9 on Buffalo. It's 1-1 time for Army. But if Hartnett, the shot clock would have expired if he doesn't touch him.
Yeah, that's Hartnett not seeing the smaller defender.
Sinks it. Army leads by 2 with 52.1 to go.
Meanwhile, on the Buffalo end, a big problem. They once had a 16-2 run in this second half. They're currently on a 3-minute, 40-second drought.
Free throw rolls out. Buffalo, even with that drought, they can still tie or take the lead. Sagu in a hurry, hop step. Had it stopped. It's out of bounds off of Buffalo. Sagu forces from in deep. Army with the ball, up by 2 with 41.7 to go. Buffalo doesn't have to foul, still a one-possession game. There's 11.7 separating game and shot clock.
Yeah, tough bounce of the ball. It goes off of Hardnett's shin and out of play. And this is a big timeout here, as we're going to have to see what they develop as a game plan. Army, I think that they're going to hear it. This is their first timeout since that really bad possession, last possession, where they went away from their offense entirely, just went ahead and threw a sort of isolation, try and create. They didn't even get inside the three-point line, and that led to a blocked Grayson 3. So I think this is a really good timeout by Coach Allen to just make sure that his team is ready to run some actual semblance of their offense, and if nothing else, get to the free throw line once more, because this will obviously, like you said, not a fouling situation for Buffalo, but they definitely don't want to commit the foul either and have them go to the line for the bonus.
Our game reset, Army leads 76-74. Both teams have committed 9 fouls in the half. Army West Point, they have 2 timeouts remaining. Buffalo down to 1. Army's on a 6-0 run over the last 3:29. Army basketball up by 2. They're trying to get Army out on the floor. Head coach Jimmy Allen using the entire 60 seconds and some to draw up an inbounds play, knowing that Buffalo would be pressuring. Caldwell, the inbounder, cannot run the baseline. Bounces it in. Grayson a long way from the cup. 38 seconds to go. They get it back to Caldwell to operate the point this possession. 11 seconds separate game and shot. Caldwell yo-yoing the bounce out front.
They're just going with the straight isolation play to burn as much time as they can and then have a drive for Caldwell on the high screen.
They kick it into a higher gear with 6 on the timer. Caldwell had it partially blocked on the inside by Hardnett. 10 seconds for Buffalo, down by 2. Segu crosses over, lost it, a steal! King has it with 5 seconds, and ahead to Caldwell, and a foul on the boundary with 4.5 to go. This will send Army to the foul line.
I'm amazed there was not a foul called for Segu right there, as he tried the traditional kind of rip-through move through a defender, and he lost the handle because I think his forearm kind of got tied up with the defender's hand. And man, that's a tough one to take if you're Buffalo, when the guy who's been your best scorer so far in the game, Segu, with 18 points, just doesn't get the whistle, and Army will have to try and make this a 2-possession game.
Lonnie Grayson shooting for Army. They were trying to get the ball up the floor to Caldwell. Grayson 60% from the foul line last season. Coming off a career-high 24 points against Central Connecticut State yesterday. He had a career-high 8 threes. 1 shy of the program record. And Army as a team, they were 1 shy of a program record. They hit 15. 77-74. Grayson has 1 more coming. Timeout on the floor. That scoring drought for Buffalo has now extended to 4:27. There's 4.5 seconds to play. This is a huge free throw as Grayson tries to put this game on ice for Army.
Yeah, it's tough to go an entire quarter of a half without scoring, and Buffalo lucky to kind of be in this situation with a drought like that, but it really is in a big part because they had a 14-0 run earlier in this half that brought them into the lead of this game, and that's just how this game has sort of shaken down, and Buffalo trying to get their game set here with 4.5 seconds left. But if it's a made free throw by Grayson, it'll be really hard for Buffalo to come back, as usually it takes about 4 seconds just to get the ball down the court and a shot attempt up, and Army's probably going to play a little bit of a prevent defense and not have anybody on the other half of the court after this free throw. I don't think they're even going to send rebounders, it looks like.
If Grayson misses, if you're Army, do you foul or take your chances?
Oh, you take your chances.
Grayson
and
hits
now
it.
It's moot point.
4-point lead for Army. Buffalo. Army hangs on for the win. 78-74. Army West Point, they are 3-0 for the first time since 2015. Winning it here at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, 78-74. Josh Caldwell, a team high 19 points, also had 10 rebounds, a double-double for the junior from Columbia, South Carolina. He was fantastic. The top returner in several categories for Army. This is a big win for Army West Point. Buffalo drops to 1-1. So we look at some highlights from today's action.
Yeah, I hate to say that I was prophetic, but it was really the free throws down the stretch for Army that gave them this victory. They finished 14 of 21 from the free throw line, and that's the main difference, as Buffalo only got to the free throw line 14 times and made 9 of their free throws. And just a fun matchup between these two teams. And I'm happy that I was on this call because this was a really fun game. And we're going to have to see what this Army team does in conference play, because they've shown to be quite the well-organized team.
He's Carl Schoening. I'm James Westling. For Philip and Tommy, our entire Flow Hoops crew. Army ends the game on an 8-0 run. They take it 78-74. This has been a presentation of college basketball on Flow Hoops from Bubbleville, the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Thanks for watching. A full week of coverage on Flow Hoops from Bubbleville at the Mohegan Sun here in Connecticut. Quinnipiac and Drexel, these teams met last night and conclude a two-game series this afternoon. Alongside the analyst for the Austin Spurs of the NBA G League, he's Carl Schoening. I'm James Westling. Carl, Drexel pulled away in the first half. They led by 18 at the break and won 66-49 in last night's matchup between these two clubs.
Yeah, and we get to see game 2 of the series, the second game of the back-to-back if we were in the NBA. It's kind of rare that we have a game like this in the NCAA. I haven't seen any such example of it, but it's 2020, and that's the situation we're in. And both teams probably ready to get this game against each other another go, as see how they match up in the second game.
They switch sides for the conclusion of this two-game series today. Let's start with Quinnipiac and their player to watch. They had a lot of offense from their point guard last night.
Yeah, Savion Lewis was the only Bobcat to reach double figures. He came out to play last night on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be the leader for his team today as well to try and get that offense going.
And in terms of your keys for the Bobcats, it was a sloppy start. They turned it over a bunch.
Yeah, 17 times to be exact, and that led to 22 Drexel points off turnovers, which is where the game really shifted. It's those points off turnovers. If the Bobcats can limit that today, then they might have a better chance of winning this afternoon.
And our starting lineups for the Bobcats. You can see them there in their road Navy uniforms this afternoon. Seth Pinckney picked up 2 quick fouls, really threw the Bobcats off their schedule last night. And as we switch gears and take a look at the Dragons of Drexel, their player to watch, it was a balanced attack for the Dragons last night.
Yeah, but a big part of it was Zach Walton, and he came out with 13 points, 5 rebounds last night, and he led the team in scoring going into the locker rooms. I think that he's going to be one of the guys that you kind of consistently look for to be a contributor to this Drexel Dragon team, and he certainly wants to build off last night's performance.
And how does Drexel avoid a hangover after that 18-point win?
Hey, just keep that focus. Don't let focus lack. That's going to be the main thing here for Drexel. As you know, last night you picked up a win. You kind of cruised to it. You had a large lead at halftime. You didn't have to worry too much or put too much acceleration on the gas pedal in the second half. I think the Dragons need to come out and treat this game much like Quinnipiac does, as a fresh game. I think both teams need to just hit delete on last night, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, and remember what they're doing. And the most important thing out here is to improve their game.
Let's take a look at Drexel's starting lineup. Love these gold uniforms, a throwback look to the Dragons. They'll be in the gold and Quinnipiac in the navy. James Butler, a double-double machine, averaging now 10 points and 10 rebounds per game after his performance last night for the Dragons. They won it 66-48. They had 3 players in double figures. Cameron Winter had a team-high 17. Bickerstaff had 11. And our player to watch, Zach Walton, had his average right at 13 in the win. Quinnipiac controls the tap. They have it out front between the circles. This is the first day on the docket, first game on the docket, I should say, of the day in Division I college basketball. Pull up from the baseline. Pinckney with the offensive rebound. Comes out to set a screen for Savion Lewis. Wanders into the paint, drive and kick. Corner 3, a good look. Off target from Balanc. And Drexel secures the rebound.
Pinckney got in foul trouble last night, but he came in and played well in the second half, and I imagine he wants to make an impact here out of the gates when there's no score, and he did that right away with the offensive rebound.
Bickerstaff, whose uncle is the head coach of the Cleveland Cavs, double figures last night. Jump ball, arrow favors Drexel. It'll stay on this end with the Dragons.
I like to see both teams bringing that aggression, chasing that 50-50 ball, and I think both teams, despite having such a quick turnaround after playing each other last night, are excited to get back out here on the court.
This is the Air Force Reserve Hall of Fame tip-off. These two teams were supposed to be joined by Bryant and Albany, but both teams in quarantine. So it's Quinnipiac and Drexel Part 2 Minute gone by, no score. Took these two teams nearly 3 minutes last night before somebody got on the board. Cameron Winter probing, gives it up to Bickerstaff, kills his dribble. Floats it out on the wing with the shot clock approaching 10. Butler squares and faces. Bullets to Okras on the outside. Takes it down the lane. Wild shot. May have slipped out of his hands on the release. And a whistle and a foul called on Drexel.
Yeah, again, just an aggressive move to get to those 50-50 balls. Last night, both teams were in the penalty pretty early. I want to say with about 8 minutes left to play in the first half. So hopefully the refs let them play a little bit, but if they are going to be aggressive going towards those loose balls, that's when you see some of those kind of players running into each other, fouls, and I'm all for that. I think that's part of the more physical college basketball game.
Carl, did you feel like the tempo was much of a factor last night at any point in the game, or was it just more Drexel kind of pulled away as Quinnipiac couldn't make a shot in the first half?
Yeah, it was kind of that. It was a very sluggish pace, even when Drexel kind of went on their runs. And, you know, I think both teams are going to be looking for a new rhythm tonight.
Belongs shot. Touches all parts of the rim. 2 minutes gone by. This start somewhat similar to what we saw last night. Both teams unable to make shots until Cameron Winter drills the dead eye from the top of the circle to get Drexel on the board, coming off a 17-point performance last night here in the bubble.
Yeah, and we talked about that last night. Getting that three-point shot going will be a key for Drexel. They knocked down 7 last night, and it's good to see Winter hit his first one if you're a Dragons fan.
Savion Lewis, aggressive once again here this afternoon. He was really the only offense for the Bobcats in the loss. They only scored 48 points. Walton stop and start move to the top to Butler. Thought about that three. Ball's booted high into the air, and it stays on this end after the kick with the Dragons. Baker Dunleavy is the head coach of Quinnipiac in his 4th season, an 06 graduate from Villanova. Was an assistant on that 2016 national championship team under Jay Wright. His dad, Mike, coached many, many seasons in the NBA, most recently at Tulane. Butler and one going to the line. The rebound and the stick back, and Drexel with an early 5-point lead.
Drexel's been very active on the offensive side of the ball here in the first few minutes of the game, and that's part of that activity with all the ball movement, all the screens being set. Butler already being physical, setting the screens, ready to go mix it up on the rebounds too. Winter misses the jump shot, but Butler there to clean it up. Gets the end one opportunity.
Butler averaged 11.7 rebounds per game last year, 5th in the nation, led the conference. Some token pressure here by Drexel. Savion Lewis, the step back from 8, goes 6. It's an air ball. And we go the other way with Drexel on top 6-0. Carl, once again, we see a slow start from Quinnipiac.
Yeah, and I think Walton might have gotten a piece of that from behind on the block. We'll see if that goes down as a registered block for Zach Walton here in a moment. But yeah, Lewis seems to be wanting to do it all himself, and that's led to some contested shots at the rim, and those aren't always bad opportunities, but in that particular case, it seemed like he dribbled into a triple coverage defense in a way down there on the baseline.
Drexel in the gold, Quinnipiac in the navy. Butler sets a screen. Winter takes it halfway down the lane. Diagonal pass out on the arc, uphill to Bickerstaff. Butler gets a good look, wide open. Rolls off the rim. And Elias King soars in for the rebound for Quinnipiac. Hand off Sheneri. Blocking foul in the restricted area. Butler picks up the personal.
Well, I do want to give credit to the officials to this point. I feel like all of their fouls have been legitimate. We were talking about it last night, how there might have been a couple tic-tac fouls that I wish they had sort of saved because they went into the penalty fairly early in the first half last night, and they think that kind of slowed down the pace as well.
Ahead to Bickerstaff going in for a dunk. Showtime on the other end. Drexel has jumped out to an 8-point lead here in the first 4 minutes and change.
And if you're an athletic sophomore like TJ Bickerstaff, that's exactly how you get your teammates to give you the ball in the half-court sets. Just make sure they have to give it to you when you go on a fast break, and there's nothing the defense can do except watch you get a dunk in.
Quinnipiac on the board. They had missed their first 6 shots. Elias King able to score from around the rim. He provided a lift last night off the bench. Butler counters with the rebuttal on the other end. And a foul. James Butler going to the line for this Drexel team. When we return, it's 10-2. It's all Dragons for the second game in a row here in the first 4+ minutes. This is college basketball, Bubbleville from the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on Flow Hoops.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? AFreserve.com.
At our first media timeout, it's all Drexel on top, 10-2. They won by 18 last night as the series between these two teams concludes here this afternoon, playing back-to-back. And not a lot of rest. That game got over last night around 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. Drexel leads by 8, and Carl, these teams are taking better care of the basketball, but Quinnipiac just 1 of 7 to start, and it's been this guy, James Butler, on the other end for the Dragons.
Yeah, Drexel found their rhythm last night, and now they're really picking up and almost getting whatever they want against this Quinnipiac team. It's like they figured out the defense in a weird way to where they can kind of get to the rim at will. They're getting their crisp passes on point. No turnovers between both of these teams. Drexel had 14 last night and 17 last night for Quinnipiac, and to this point, neither team has turned it over, but the difference is the field goal shooting. Drexel 4 of 8 from the field and knocked down their only 3-point attempt. Quinnipiac 1 of 7 and 0 for 1 from behind the arc.
Butler, preseason All-League. He had a game last year against Hofstra. He almost had a triple-double. He needed just one more assist in the contest. Connects on the freebie to give Drexel a 9-point cushion as they bring in Tim Perry Jr. off the bench.
See this 3-quarter courts trap and almost get a turnover out of it from Drexel.
Quinnipiac 0 for 2 from downtown. They went 1 of 12 from deep last night. Winter puts it on the floor, controls the dribble as he retreats out on the arc. Shot clock winding down. Okras on the outside, they lob it to Perry. Feels the heat, shot clock at 3, has to put it up, leans in. Doesn't get the roll. Shot wandered on the rim. Secured by Quinnipiac in a hurry. Shineri trying to create. Gives it up to King. Contorts his body and sticks it. He has all 4 for the Bobcats.
And just a smart play to get to the rim, draw on the defense before they could really get set early in the shot clock. And still a tough shot, but a good shot at the rim to get Quinnipiac on the board here in this shift.
Double down on the inside. It leads to a jump, a tie up. The arrow favors Quinnipiac. Bobcats have the ball. Carl, we've seen a little bit of a full court pressure variety from this Drexel team. What are the Dragons hoping to accomplish?
Well, usually when you see them just play this full court man, it tends to get the Bobcats just to kill some time in the backcourt, maybe if they want to make their own mistake. But you'll see them back off right around here, and it's just to get them out of their sets and burn a little bit more of their possession. If you see them in that kind of three-quarter courts trap, they're actually legitimately trying to get something across the timeline and or force a bad pass and recover.
Led to a tough shot, a long three off the mark from Rigoni. Bickerstaff wiggles into the lane. Stays with it, and he's able to follow it up and through. Bickerstaff on the board for the first time this afternoon for Drexel.
Yeah, and Drexel starting to sort of run away with it here in the early goings of this first half.
The blow by from Savion Lewis. Had a team high 14 last night for Quinnipiac, and it's a 7-point lead for the Dragons.
And Lewis senses that. They're sort of letting him go hero ball whenever he wants, and give him credit, he responded when his team needed a bucket right there.
Miscommunication on the route. It's a turnover. And a rim run on the other side, blocked from behind. It stays with Quinnipiac on this end. Perry got a hand on it, volleys it out of bounds.
Yeah, really good transition defense. This is one of the harder spots to not commit a foul, and looks like all ball from the replay.
Shineri going to work on the inside. It'll stay on this end with the Bobcats. Quinnipiac made just 4 shots in the entire first half last night, and they were down by 18. They've got 3 made field goals here in the early minutes. Trying to claw back into it. Still very early on. Down low. Rigoni trying to flip it up and in with the offhand. Left it short. And a front side rebound secured by Drexel. Winter flowing to the bucket. High off the glass. Too strong. Rebound fumbled around down low, and it's going back the other way to the Bobcats.
Yeah, I said this last night, James. You can't win a game in the first half, but you can certainly lose one. And I think that sort of came to pass for the Bobcats, as they really never got back into the game in the second half. And, you know, they want to avoid that here, and they still have plenty of time in this half to finish strong, maybe even come back into it with a little run.
McGuire, pocket pass, backdoor, and it leads to a stuff. Shineri with the finish. And the Bobcats have trimmed it to a 5-point deficit.
And that's the kind of offense you want to see them run. Not so much a hero ball that's easy for the Drexel defense to key in on. Get some movement out there, and a backdoor cut for an easy dunk is a good momentum play to encourage that.
Winter, Hedgehogs to the rim with the reverse layup. High off the square and in.
It's a fun scorer to watch, isn't he?
He's explosive. He has a quick first step. And it feels like, Carl, he's always in control when he has the ball.
Yeah, I certainly think that he's going to have a really solid junior year. He was the leading scorer last year as a sophomore, and I think he's ready to step up into perhaps an even more heavy load for the team.
Bobcats barely beat the buzzer. Shineri rings the bell from the corner. And Taimu Shineri providing a lift off the bench for this Quinnipiac club.
Yeah, very quick 5 points here in the last couple possessions, and all of a sudden, 2-possession ball game. And I know we still have plenty of time when I say 2-possession, but that's good for Quinnipiac to work their way back in it and find some end of the shot clock success too, and not go to that just isolation right off the go like they had been.
Shot clock winding down on this end as well. Perry walks with it. Drags that pivot foot. Turnover Drexel. Timeout on the floor with 10:52 to go in the first. The Quinnipiac bench providing a spark. They've trimmed it to 4 here on Flow Hoops.
Being a pro athlete, it's extremely important to be prepared. It's extremely important to put the right things in your body. That's the great thing about BioSteel, is it's getting me in the right shape to be able to go out on the field and be the best Patrick Mahomes that I can be. To best thing about this sport and the platform that you have. You get to impact the future generation. And having something that tastes good that also makes you healthy is something that's special.
College basketball on Flow Hoops, the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, host of Bubbleville. This is our 8th day in the bubble. This field featured over 30 teams and close to 40 games. A lot of teams in and then out.